Our buddy, two of our buddies, Ted Johnson, talked to Karen Guregian,
mentor of the great Megan Onolini, friend of the show,
and just a GOAT Boston reporter, person, the whole thing. She's done it all in Boston sports media. Love her. And so, the question is, are we getting ahead of ourselves with Drake Maye? Some of you that are predicting 10, 11 wins roll out of bed, which if you're going to win 10 or 11 games, your quarterback better do the right thing a lot more often than he does the wrong thing.
Oh, and they're already saying, here's Josh Allen 2.0. He's in the Hall of Fame. This guy's
MVP discussions. We had the dudes on dudes. Mm-hmm. Remember when Gronkowski and Edelman were talking about, I don't know if he's an MVP top 5 candidate this year. And I was like, wait, who said that? Who said he was going to be a top 5 MVP candidate?
Can he have a better than 3-2 touchdown to interception ratio first, please?
Can he not fumble and or throw interceptions when the game is on the line every time?
Again, we did agree, though, as a show, I believe, to give him a breakfast ball or a mulligan in the majority of last season because of the Mayo factor.
But I've said this, that question that I struggle with, whether it's in my Bible podcast or my Drake Maye faith, seeing something you haven't seen. I'm going to need to see something I haven't seen from Drake Maye, correct?
Yes.
If he's going to be the leader of the New England Patriots to double-digit wins that you guys think he is.
I'm going to start with consistently turnover-free, mistake-free, well-played games that leads to multiple wins because Drake Maye has but a win to his name as a quarterback.
And you know who else is also looking for that very likely and strongly? His new offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels.
Joe Bagadona.
Not Joe Bagadonis, Josh McDaniels, different guy. Mm-hmm. And he used to often talk about Tom Brady. What's the greatest thing he does? Doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't take sacks. That idea that Charlie Weiss started back in the day. No one ever lost by punting. You can't turn the ball over. You cannot turn the ball over. So that's where Ted Johnson started talking to Karen Guregian. If you look at all the interceptions and only one win last year, I understand the trepidation, Johnson said. I think he's a special player. I think he has special traits, but I do wonder if he has the mental aptitude or the mental skill set to match what his natural talents are. Is that a fair criticism, Dan Ball?
Absolutely it is. If the whole clear the runway stuff that we kind of made light of during the offseason is true, now you're giving a guy his second offensive coordinator at the professional level, so his third in as many years, and you're expecting him to take that next step despite an offensive line that's better but not great, a wide receiver group that's better but not great. Yeah, I have to question it until I have proof that it's not a little on the weak side.
To remind the audience as well, last week we brought it up, had a nice little discussion about it, but I think it merits a revisit. There was that Polymarket Sports graphic of the 6 quarterbacks that were rookies last year and what they believe to be their floors and ceilings going forward. And Polymarket had Drake Maye with a ceiling of Trevor Lawrence and a floor of Daniel Jones.
I would want to get
so he's
in
a bust.
That action.
He's a bust no matter what.
Yeah, so do you really still think that Trevor Lawrence is that a goal for Drake Maye? I see it as a higher ceiling.
It was dumb the time it was printed on that graphic. It was just a terrible idea. This is the 3rd pick in the draft who is being compared to what I believe.
Wasn't Lawrence the first overall pick?
Yeah, but he was never compared to John Elway. And I think Josh Allen, John Elway are 2 of the most physically gifted quarterbacks of the last 50 years in the National Football League. And that is the world where you're kind of Drake Maying right now. And Trevor Lawrence, really good. Yep. Generational winner. In high school and college, generational winner and sneaky athletic, does more athletically than I think people give him credit for. But big,
2 years ago, his receivers did lead the NFL in drop touchdowns.
Yes, but you got to win. The bottom line for Trevor Lawrence is doesn't win enough. The bottom line for Drake Maye is year 1 doesn't win enough. You have to win because guess what? You can throw the same interceptions and fumbles and all those things. If you win, people forget about that stuff. Winning masks it. But when you lose, they're like, part of the reason you're losing is because you turn the ball over with the game on the line or you turn the ball over at costly times.
Let me give you guys a stat line and just tell me if it's acceptable or not for a second season quarterback.
I love a good stat.
Given what we saw last year. 10-6 record, which is, that we can
that's acceptable with me.
Work with that. That's kind of secondary to the other stuff.
They're missing a game.
Are they going to play 17 games in this?
There was a tragedy. We took a week off. I don't like that aspect.
Right. Or let's say that they're already in the playoffs, so they gave him a week off. I don't know, whatever.
Nice.
20 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, 3,089 yards passing.
Who the hell wait for Drake Maye? 20 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 3,100 yards passing.
Yes,
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it?
No.
Okay.
That's not going to get. That is not going to get That is not going to get you 10 wins. As good as the defense.
No. He just told you have 10 wins.
Yeah. This is a stat line
This is
that
a faulty sim.
This is a stat line.
Why are you being so argumentative?
I don't understand why you're yelling.
Allow me. This is going to help a point that you made on Friday that I agreed with, you and I were shooting back and forth with. That was the year 2, age 23 stat line for Josh Allen. So it was.
But the funny thing is, most of those touchdowns, the picks all came earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the touchdowns came late. They had the restraining bolt, the restrictor plates on him, something wicked, which we believe, Andy, Josh McDaniels will likely have on Drake Maye for at least the first half of the season, the same way he did with Matt Castle in 2008, the same way he did with Mac Jones in 2021.
What do those 2 seasons have in common?
Double-digit wins.
Ding, 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 ding. And if you give me those numbers in double-digit wins for a team that I believe the very astute, smart football analyst in this room at the opposite end of the table from me, this team is going to run the ball. This team is a run-first team. You told me that. Ramondre Stevenson.
They are going to be.
Skinny Ramondre Stevenson looks like a shell of himself.
He has slimmed down.
Travion Henderson, you just told me, is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Candidate.
So therefore, if those 2 guys are good, and let's just say between them they have 1,800 yards.
Oh, my gosh. Can I have a scotch and a cigarette?
So 1,800 yards. Wait a minute. I believe this team has a defense that has Christian Gonzalez, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Carlton Davis. Like, defense, run the ball. Don't turn the ball over. You said 9 picks, right? 20-9.
Yep.
And we already know Ramondre has been working on his fumbling issue. Hopefully he gets it locked up. Travion Henderson.
No, but I don't care about that. We're talking about Drake Maye.
I know, but I'm just saying.
You said that's not good enough. You just won 10 games with Drake Maye making those decisions with a running game and a defense. That's more than good enough.
I think he's going to have to do a little more than that.
Well, you're not very good at this game. You presented him the situation. He goes, you're not winning 10 games. No, I told you, you won 10 games. These numbers led to 10 games.
I am playing the game. I'm just saying it sounds like that this all should align. I think he's going to have to do a little bit more.
I see you guys lining up, 617-779-7937. Get to you in just 1 second. I want to read one more quote from our buddy Ted Johnson, who will defend these arguments tomorrow when he joins us at 3 here.
I'm sure.
WEEI Afternoons.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Whether it comes from leadership, whether it comes from a clutch gene, whether it comes from just being the man, the face of the franchise, I was kind of hoping I'd hear some stories this offseason that he was bringing guys together, that he was throwing with guys, Johnson said. That sounds kind of corny and maybe forced, but the quarterback has to be the CEO. He has to take ownership of the football team, and I don't know if he's fully accepted that part of the job. So my question is, we kind of have seemingly 3 layers here. Pure physical talent, I think we're all in that Drake Maye has it, right? Not even a question.
That's not up for debate.
Okay, right. Pure physical talent. Decision-making on the football field, up for question, right? Up for debate.
Big question mark.
Seems to be a great processor and analyst, but the decision-making needs a little work.
And leadership. That's the third prong of the quarterback position.
That's a big question mark.
Maybe the least proof of concept out of those 3 is that one?
I don't even know what you just said in big Breslowian terms.
Proof of concept?
Proof of concept. What the F does that mean?
Evidence.
Meaning evidence.
Why don't you just say evidence then?
Okay.
Hey, Breslow, put that through the computer, Stiz.
Right. Guess what? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start having sandwiches where the meat is on the outside and the bread's on the inside. Here, I've made you one. It's called proof of concept.
Evidence?
Yeah. No, it's not evidence.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Anyway.
I tried.
How is proof of concept Breslovian?
It is. It's a think tank term. It is a dork term. It's a non-numerical analytical.
Obviously, there's not great synergy on this one. Why don't we revisit this one? We'll put a pin in it.
We'll put a pin in it.
Anytime that something goes over Andy's head, pause for short joke.
Not funny.
And then
Not
dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to best smart?
I actually think his leadership has been
Drake's?
What a point of
interest.
Batting average on balls in play.
He had
say
to
big
deal
words.
With, yeah, he did. They tried to.
Iwoba.
You don't need to try to smart. You're smart enough, Dan Ball. You should know that. You don't need
Kenobi.
to try to sound smart.
This wasn't a thing until you made it a thing.
I know. It's what I do.
That's a new segment on the show. Andy made it a thing.
Yep.
Not for everybody.
Leadership is something that he showed last year when the coaching and offensive line and play calling and everything changed and they struggled at North Carolina and he regressed. He went from 5,000 total yards or whatever it was the year before to people saying, hey, how come you're not as good this year? And he's like, well, I'm not, blah, blah. He never threw the offensive line of the coaching under the bus. Elliot Wolf told us that. It was one of the first things he told us that they scouted last year at North Carolina. I would argue that last year in New England, it was a certified bleep show. We all agree, correct? Yep,
yeah.
Certified.
There's a lot of proof of concept there.
So last year, proof of concept of his leadership tells me,
hey, prove this.
He heard the head coach say, yeah, you won the job, but you're not going to play for a month and a half. Isn't that a tough situation?
Oh, hey, coach, why?
Right? And he ran with it. He supported Jacoby Brissett pre and post. He supported Alex Van Pelt throughout the entirety of the process when he probably knew it wasn't the best setup for him.
Yeah, but he and Dad Jeans did well together.
He supported. Did they?
I think they did. They seem to have a pretty good work.
They were the worst team in football.
Was it his fault that the defense gave up like 9 yards?
He didn't fix it. He didn't fix it. He didn't make it better.
Who the hell was he throwing to?
That's a great question. Sometimes that was a great question. It wasn't the tuba player. It was the other team.
Oh, my God.
He didn't throw the offensive line under the bus, right? Every Monday, we asked him some form of a question about, boy, you're getting your ass kicked. Is this sustainable or something? Well, those guys are really fighting their ass off out there, blah, blah, blah. So
he's a good teammate.
I think there's good teammate leadership skills in him. Mm-hmm. Now, whether he takes it that next level is the CEO that Ted Johnson is calling for, getting guys together. He also had a wedding this offseason, which takes a little time, and there's some, get that out of the way. I kind of like that.